Okay, so we're in Cursor, and let's try to vibe code an app together. What we see here are the requirements for this application that I'm going to give to the agent. I want it to build a to-do list app. I specifically want it to have a React front end and a Python back end, and then some details around the product functionality. It should be able to make to-do list items that have an expiration date, and I need some way to delete them. That's all I'm going to give it. There's no security requirements here, so we'll have to kind of see how that plays out later on. So I'm going to let it start thinking. It's going to put together its own to-do list. So it's a set of actions that it needs to perform. It landed on 6, and we'll go and let it start. I already have the README, so it's just going to add some updates to it for me. And now it's going to start building the backend. So we should see a backend folder and some requirements being pulled in. So these are my dependencies. And we should see in a second, it'll start to build the actual app. So what do we have so far? Models.py. Okay, it's making the main application now. That'll wrap these two smaller files. And now that it's built the back end, we're going to move on to the front end. Again, I asked it for a React front end. It's decided that Vite is the best way to build this. And so we're going to start scaffolding that application. Already, you just see there's a ton of new stuff that was just brought in. If I go to my, let's see, public package.json, not a ton of dependencies yet. There's a few of them. I'm sure there'll be more pulled in as it keeps working. All right, so now that it's kind of built the main scaffold for the front-end app, it's going to start building some of these specific components and functionality within it. So these will start to appear in my application as it works. So we've got the to-do list component itself. It just got added to the new components directory. We've got an SVG file in case we need it for something it's building. All right, it is actually done. So it has built the entire thing. So what we have is that back end, the front end, and then it's given me the steps to actually start running this. I actually have in here, though, the Endor Labs MPC server, or MCP server. So I'm going to ask it to go ahead and use these. So use my tools to check for vulnerable dependencies. Could have secrets, first-party code, but let's just start with dependencies and see what it finds. So it's calling that check. So it's, at this point, it's working with Endor Labs to actually scan the application. Let's see if it returns anything. Axios sometimes does. So it's on our front end. Now it's working the back end. So checking that requirements.txt file. So it actually found several. So in this case, it did find that Axios vulnerability, and it actually found one with Fast API as well. So it's actually to go ahead and update these for me. So if I were to go look at, so that's the change there to requirements.txt, and then it's going to install it. Kind of the same thing with npm. It's just updated our package.json, and now it's double checking to make sure that these have actually been fixed. And so we've confirmed there's no issues. And so from here, I could continue iterating. It's like, okay, my dependencies are good. What about my code? So check. Let's see what it does here. So it's calling the scan. This will take a little bit longer since it has to do a whole front-end scan for different languages. Yeah, it's doing everything. It's vulnerability secrets and dependencies in this case. So it's going to be a little bit more in depth than what we just did, which was just dependencies. It's thinking. Sometimes takes it a minute. All right, it's logging, so that's good. That's a start. So essentially what we're doing is we're giving it a requirement here to actually check that first-party code to make sure there's no issues with it. We'll show you in a little bit how to actually do that with rules so that it's actually sanitizing as it works. So you could like fully lock away, let it build the application, and generate secure code as we work, or as it works on its own. All right, so it's identified actually several issues for me that it thinks it should fix. Let's just kind of read. Let's see. So we have a high-risk cores configuration, a medium-risk database security issue and error handling, no front-end input validation. And so now it's actually going to give me those recommended fixes, right? So it's using our platform to actually recommend what it should do instead. We might actually let it finish making these recommendations and then ask it to go ahead and apply these for me. Actually, I think it already has. Let's go to main Pi and see. Yeah, so that's that. Let's go ahead and say, yes, I want this. So I'm going to accept that suggestion. It's going to make it in here for me. Same with this one. Let's go ahead and just accept everything. I don't want to think about this too much. And we'll improve some of our error handling. All right. So I could have just asked it to implement them for me. In this case, I clicked accept and it worked.